Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And I think I did such a great job in selecting the music, I don't have to speak because that last song just said it all. But since you expect me to say something, I guess I will. So I'm going to be talking today about living everyday wonder, and I'm going to address three areas: living, and then everyday wonder, and then focusing specifically on this year, because this is the first time I'm greeting you all in 2022, and there's a lot more of 2022 to come. So I'm going to share my slides. There we go. All righty, so if you all read the Science of Mind magazine, then you know that Living Everyday Wonder is the theme for January. So I am in keeping with the theme for Centers for Spiritual Living. And I just want to remind you that spiritual living doesn't just happen when we're in meditation or contemplation, or just when we gather like this on Sunday mornings. It's just a way that we navigate life. And what happens in every moment, every day is wonderful. It's also about applying our spiritual tools and principles to every area of our lives. And we do that daily. So when we do, our life tends to flow more smoothly. Choices are much clearer for us, and seeming miracles are everyday occurrences. There is wonder in every day, just waiting for us to live it. So I want to start with this quote, and it's a quote by Ernest Holmes, and it says, "That which today seems to us supernatural, after it is understood, will be found spontaneously natural." And so what we're talking about here is that if you seek the spiritual aspect of everything that you do, when you seek the joy in the mundane, then you are truly recognizing the gift of life and its everyday wonders. So it is in our daily life that we encounter the divine. The wonder of spirit is everywhere, and we can't escape it because we are inseparable from it. It is our truest essence. When we become conscious of it and we live in that awareness, our daily experiences become opportunities for transformation, for healing, and for our individual and collective evolution. In the Science of Mind, we oftentimes start out spiritual mind treatments by saying there is only one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And if you really believe that with every sinew of your being, then you cannot help but live a life of everyday splendor and wonder. So let's talk about living, as I promised. I'm going to stop sharing for a bit so that I can see more of your faces, or at least names. Living is not uncommon for, and I'm sharing with you a quote from Eckhart Tolle. He says, "It's not uncommon for people to spend their whole life waiting to start living." Let me say a little bit more about that. When I have more money saved, I'm going to. When the kids grow up, I'm going to. When. And so we're always putting living on the back burner, living on hold. But here's a concept. Why don't you live right now, in this eternal moment right now? Because it's all we have right now. So why wait? Many of us go through the motions of daily life unaware of the beauty that surrounds us, that is us. And we wait for something spectacular to inspire or motivate us to start living. Something spectacular has already happened. You. the very fact that you exist, and that life with a capital L has breathed life into you. And it continues to breathe us each and every time we inhale and we exhale, maintaining and sustaining us throughout every moment that we are alive. I think that we're seeking an experience of being alive so that our life experiences on the purely physical plane will have resonance with our own innermost being and reality, so that we actually feel the rapture of being alive. It doesn't have to be something that's sensational. Just the fact that you woke up this morning and you do have breath is wonderful. To live and to really experience life, as Robert Browning wrote, rather consists in opening a way whence the imprisoned splendor may escape, than in effecting entry for a light supposed to be without. We live our lives from the inside out is really what Browning was talking about. And living is a verb, you all. And you can hear Pickles is quite alive, so forgive me. But living is a verb that requires our conscious and active participation. And without action, application, and practice, we are merely existing. So let me share another slide with you, and it's a quote. Let me find it. Oh, he is really animated this morning. There we go. All right. Something very extraordinary is happening. There are no ordinary moments in your life. And I quoted Mary O'Malley in a sermon last year. I just happened upon a book, and it's called What's in the Way is the Way. And so I captured that quote actually from that book. And so I'm pausing to encourage you all to read and find that book, because it just has so many wonderful messages in it. So let me say a little bit about alchemy. And you all remember the book and then the subsequent movie and television shows called The Alchemist. Alchemy is recognizing the extraordinary that is inherent within the ordinary. It is a revealing of what is already present within us. The butterfly exists in a caterpillar. The mighty oak within the acorn. Orchards within one apple seed. Awe and wonder are present in modest, ordinary things. One form is transmuted into a higher form as its truest essence is revealed. The extraordinary goes beyond the ordinary. So with a bit of practice, with a bit of creativity, seeing the world with curiosity becomes a natural part of our worldview. And we tune into the mastery of all. O'Malley writes, true alchemy is about transforming unconsciousness into consciousness. Curiosity is where that magic happens. Curiosity. We talked about imagination last time I was here, but I want you to also remain curious, because curious people ask questions. Curious people explore. Curious people seek the truth. So be curious, never ever cease to be curious. The more we are conscious of our own truest essence, our divinity, and our oneness with all, the more every aspect of our individual lives are transmuted into a higher expression of life. It is in the daily, the mundane, that we encounter the divine. I remember writing a short story once about finding the divine in the mundane, and it was all about washing dishes, you all. Finding what's extraordinary in washing dishes. You'll have to read the short story in order to find out my premise. But the world is only the visible aspect of God. The world is just so much more than that. And what alchemy does is it brings spiritual perfection into contact with us on the material plane. So this year, envision a world that works for everyone and all of creation. One mission at Furtheraglow is to provide spiritual tools for your personal transformation. And as we interact with others in our community, as we travel globally, then we are in a position to help with global transformation as well. Our mere presence, our mere existence in other places in the world, we are causing a shift to occur. Personal and global transformation happen every single day that we are alive. It is important to cultivate a sense of wonder and curiosity wherever you are, and appreciate the everyday experiences of play and creativity, the emotions that you feel, the fact that you have a physical body that's serving you, your relationships, the wonders of nature, your work, and of course, I have to talk about your finances and your money vibe, your home, and your community. A world that works for all is one where our mundane actions serve our deepest individual and collective needs. In such a world, the possibility of the beautiful and the sublime exists because we have taken good care of noticing everything, even what we consider to be the ordinary. So my call to action is this. The founder of the Sikh tradition, Guru Nanak, says, truth is high, but higher still is truthful living. It is not enough to know spiritual truth. We must live it, breathe it, be it, experience it, and allow ourselves to forever be transformed by it. The truth is there is only one life. That life is perfect. That life is God. And that's the life I'm choosing to live right now. How about you? The truth is that the universe is resplendent and beauty is everywhere you look for it. The truth is there is only the eternal now, and in all that is truly well. The truth is divine wisdom is ever present and available to us, and we are divinely guided and governed. The truth is that we prove it every moment that we are alive. So again, spiritual living isn't just about sitting on a meditation cushion. It is about applying the spiritual tools and principles that we learn and that we are reminded of each and every Sunday that we gather. There is wonder in everything, just waiting for us to live it. So I want to share a story with you, very short story. As you know, I am working on another book, which will be published in 2022. That is my declaration. And the book is titled Widows Speak, Stories of Courage, Triumph, and Wisdom. And so on Friday, I was interviewing another widow. And I was sharing with Reverend Marzier earlier that I needed a woman who had become widowed as a consequence of COVID. And so it's taken almost 2 years before someone was ready to open up and to share their journey with regard to the loss of their loved one. And so as I was interviewing Leah, and she says it's okay to use her name, she talked about the horror of having to watch her loved one and his demise. But that, she said, that in and of itself was not that bad. What was horrific for her was the fact that he was in quarantine and she couldn't hold his hand. She couldn't kiss his forehead. She couldn't feel his breath upon her face. She couldn't hear his labored breathing. Before COVID, he was a vibrant preacher. He was full of life. And his wife knew that he would not want to live a compromised life because he could no longer breathe without the aid of the respirator. And then she said, an extraordinary thing happened. She said, he simply stopped breathing. She said, even though the respirator was on, he stopped breathing. And she goes on to say that she believes that that was God's way of ending David's suffering, for which she was relieved and grateful. So I share that story with you, not to be morbid, but for you to see that she recognized beauty and wonder and the fascination of what the Holy Spirit can do when one is connected with the Holy Spirit, and what it can do when we are unable to express it in our unique way. And David was no longer able to preach and minister to others in his unique way. So his life, his purpose had been fulfilled. So I want to close out with an affirmation. Let me find it. And then I'm going to start off the discussion with some questions. Not there. I didn't write my affirmation well. My apologies. We're going to go to this next. So let me just affirm it for you. My affirmation is this: there is only one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. So if you all would recite that to yourselves at least 3 times. There's only one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And really breathe it. There's only one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life I am living right now. There's only one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And so my first discussion question to you is, looking at this wheel of life, in what areas of your life could you benefit from a little bit more wonder? And that's for each of you to acknowledge. And if anybody wants to comment about that, feel free, raise your hands. Marzieh will call on you, and I'm inviting you all into the conversation. What area of your life could benefit from a little bit more wonder right now? Anybody willing to share? We're just having a conversation.
I can speak for myself by saying, coming off the Money Vibe program, I could have some more wonder in that, because it's still a discovery for me. It's still a work in progress. And I got so many nuggets from that I'm still rolling with that. So my finances, I must say that to be on the top of my list.
They could use a little bit more wonder.
A little bit more wonder. Okay. Just about a little bit.
Okay. So I'm going to ask another question that I pray stimulates commentary. What is one ordinary thing that you have a deep appreciation for? And what makes it so special? Come on in, beloved.
Good morning.
Morning.
There are several comments, but I'm going to address your question, the immediate question. And you said, what is the one ordinary thing that
you have a deep appreciation for, and what makes it so special?
The one ordinary thing, and that is family. Everyone looks at family as one, those who we were born to, born through, born with, the bloodline. But as many of you know, I have acquired a whole new family, a bonus daughter and 4 bonus grandteens. And the notion of family, ordinary family, has exploded, because I recognize, and I said to my bonus daughter, we have an opportunity to redefine family, our coming together as we have, and you know, the components of our memberships. We are now, I address us as a new God unit. And that's another term for a family. And that just came to me, a new God unit. And that was ordinary. Everyone knows family, but it has taken on a very extraordinary road and path. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing that I know of. Now,
awesome.
Now, the other thing I want to thank you, you talked about the alchemist. And last night, my mom and I were having a conversation, and I told her, I referred to the alchemist, but neither of us could remember the name. And here you come, less than 24 hours later, you gave us the name, the alchemist. Because I said, Mom, we did this, and I told the whole story, but we could not remember the name. And I just read the book at her house last Christmas, and that was it. And the last comment I wanted to speak to is that of spontaneous. And when I saw that, when I saw the quote with it, it made me feel very confirmed and affirmed, because I said that practicing the science of mind principles don't teach you what to think, it teaches you how to think. And each one of the components that comes out of thinking clearly is spontaneous. You don't know what's going to happen. It's not predictable. It is very, very wondrous and wonderful. And so when you said that, I just had the idea last night, because of course, many of you know, I'm in preparation of moving to where my new family is, from Richmond, Virginia to Marlborough, Massachusetts. And I think about them all the time. So I'm thinking about what can we do? And I was thinking about how to help them to reframe their thinking. And spontaneous was the idea that came up to me. I want them to be able to embrace spontaneity and make useful decisions, useful to them and to those around them. So those are the 3 points that I wanted to share. And thank you very much for initiating those thoughts.
So welcome, and thank you for commenting. And I'm going to ask the question one more time, because I'd like to hear from at least one other person, and that is, what is one ordinary thing that you have a deep appreciation for, and what makes it so special? because I want you all to get in touch with the wonder, with the splendor in the ordinary. So is anyone willing?
So hands down, the one ordinary thing that I have a deep appreciation for is my faith. What makes it so special is that my awareness of God's presence in my life. And that I used to like fight everything that happens and so much struggle. I wasn't even aware of what's happening. Now that awareness has caused me to be at peace. No more stress, anxiety, because everything is in divine order and nothing in my life happened by chance.
Mm-hmm.
So my faith has strengthened, definitely.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And I wouldn't ask you all to do something I'm not willing to do. So I'm going to speak on career. I've had an amazing career. And what that means is I've been able to work in many, many different industries. I've been able to help organizations transform their cultures. I've been able to help leaders transform their leadership and in turn impacting their entire organizations in a positive way. I've worked in entertainment. I've worked for the federal government. I've worked for the Department of Defense. And currently, I am working with a historically Black college in founding a medical school. My career has been wonderful. And there's wonder in it every day, because who knew that I would be tapped at the very, very beginning stages of a medical school that based here in Maryland, that is going to serve the underserved and the under-resourced. And I have a part in helping them establish policy and their vision statement and their mission statement. So I recognize and I see the wonder every single day in everything that I do. And I hope you do too. And so it is. Amen.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I must say, for me, career-wise, Furtheraglow, CSA, has just been tremendous for me over the past years. And I'm truly grateful for participation in every way. All the Aglowers who has I would say extended themselves to be part and to participate in here. I'm grateful for the steady bunch of speakers that we have, including you, Reverend Michele, including Reverend Dr. Alma Stevens, who she's on the line, for all the guest speakers, Reverend Glenn, and for brilliance like Patricia, Caroline, Iva. I mean, if I start naming now, you know, it's next week this time we'll still be here. So I am indeed grateful for the transformation of lives that I've seen over, you know, the past, even in recent times. And I must say it's been impacting my life tremendously, and just look forward to the continuation of that. And stepping a level above, continually improving and expanding. And of course, you see we're expanding into the academy now. We're offering courses. Yay. So it's good, it's good, it's all good. Thank you to my spouse, my partner, my leveler, Mr. Smith, who, yeah, he keeps me on track. I can't go too far off the track when he say, but Mazia, look at it this way. So I give thanks for that. Reverend Alma, I see you open up your screen. Beautiful, beautiful. Great to see you. All right. So
Thank
I
you.
have another question before we go. Remember, Alma, you want to say something?
No. No, I'm
Okay.
just...
All right. So, of course, I was going to make a comment about the alchemy. I didn't quite catch the definition, but Patricia did a good job on that. But to comment on the first statement that you made, Reverend Michele, about that which seems that Ernest Holmes said, he made a comment in the Science of Man text about that which seems supernatural to us. Now, when we understand what is really going on, we'll find that it's just natural and normal. It's just spontaneous.
Mm-hmm.
And when we look back at things that we categorize as miracles and magical are just part of the ordinary, spontaneous, natural way of going. When we know what we're doing and know what we're saying, when we understand, what's underlying this, we say, oh, okay, then this is what it's all about. It's not really magic. Of course, you have to have a terminology for it, and that is magical and miraculous.
Yeah, but basically, what we're saying is that if you exclusively live a secular life, then these occurrences will appear to be miracles. When you live a spiritual life, it's the norm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you recognize the truth. And so what he was talking about, the quote was, we are involved in a life, no, not that quote. It is that which today seems to us supernatural, after it is understood, will be found spontaneously natural. He's talking about the divine creative process. In and of itself, you all, you may not think about it, but from the point of conception, and 40 weeks later, you have another human being, full functioning. A body that supports life. That's a miracle. Every single birth is a miracle. And so that's what he's talking about, is when you understand and you appreciate truth, then miracles are everyday occurrences. And you all wouldn't think of having a baby as being anything that's miraculous or supernatural.
Oh, yeah. It is.
But it is. It is. And it is ordinary and it is mundane, because we understand the power, we understand of spirit, we understand the power of life with a capital L. When you understand all that, then, you look all around. And the fact that we have electricity is, at one time, was miraculous.
Mm-hmm.
Now we just take it for granted. But if you are aligned with spirit, then you expect that these things will at some point happen as we continue to evolve. And that's why it's so important that each of us continues to evolve spiritually, because we affect the collective, the transformation of the collective as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And oh, Mr. Smith, hand is raised.
Yes. Answer to Reverend Michele's question about wonder. One wonder that continues to come to mind is introducing the science of mind to other individuals. And like I was introduced to it, and how Reverend Alma would say, what you hear or what you're introduced to, you may not understand it at the moment, but it remains in the back of your mind, you know, and you keep milling over it. And at some point, you recognize what was being introduced. And I've been having that kind of experience with people who I have been introducing the science of mind to subtly. And later, I hear the person, you know, saying or beginning to understand the principle. And then I said, oh, so you finally got it, you know. That's a wonder that continues to come up with.
Thanks, Ashley.
All right, so one more point before we go, before we leave this segment, Reverend Michele. You talk about putting things on hold, you're not living your life until, when I get that degree, or when I get married, or when I finish my book, or when I buy the house, or when the grandchildren get here, or when the grandchildren grow up, or, you know, on and on and on. And it's just fascinating to see how we all do it. It was a proof point that, you know, I did that too. And just to see myself growing into the idea of, listen, this is happening. It's right now. It's now, and it's now, and it's now. Yeah. Thank you for highlighting that.
Yeah, the first question Reverend Michele asked about that everyday wonder, I was about to say fun. And then I can see it's because you're just waiting, like as you were speaking and you mentioned putting things on hold, and because I'm waiting for this to happen, waiting for this thing, then putting a life on hold. I'm not having any fun. I'm not enjoying what is now.
Yep.
So thank you for your self-awareness, Livette, and thank you for your willingness to be vulnerable and sharing that with us. Yeah, oftentimes we do put fun on hold because we want all of the other areas of our lives to be perfect. Then we can have fun. Then we're entitled to have fun. But what if you had fun just living life?
Yeah.
Something to consider.
Yeah, then those things that they're putting on hold, they would show up more because, you know, that's not where my thought is. That's not where my energy is. So I think they would just come to me more quickly.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to say in terms of fun, I remember, and I just most recently was able to make the declaration. My life was, first of all, it was good. It is good. Fun was the leader of my life. No matter what I needed to do, if I didn't see fun first, it didn't have to be the money. It didn't have to be the people. It didn't have to be the place. I had to see fun first. I have learned to balance that because fun has been that part of me. But I had to balance the fun because there are some things that I just didn't need to do just because they were fun. And that was the way in which I was operating. And so when Livette said putting off the fun, that made me think about how imbalanced at a time I was with letting fun lead me.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. And on that note of fun, we'll close out this section, and thank you so very much, everyone, for your participation, for your contribution to this discussion. Beautiful. We could talk about this all day long.